Welcome to another episode of Spin from the Real. My name happens to be Chris Anthony Lopez.
Are you commenting this shit?
What?
Spoken. You haven't watched Woke. Sorry, I thought you were doing something because you watched Woke.
No. Why you gotta ruin my intro? Dude, play the 30 seconds again. You off my groove. I can't
You ain't Cusco. You ain't Cusco.
All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Spin from the Real. My name is Chris Anthony Lopez, and joining me per usual to my right on screen is the CEO of Wild Real Entertainment, Matt Thomas, and right there, it's the alimony without the divorce, the best thing that ever happened to Frank Salamone. It's Allison Salamone. What's going on, party people?
You're too kind. You're too kind. My husband would probably vehemently disagree with you on the best thing.
I'm going to speak on Frank's behalf. Best thing that ever happened to Frank Salamone.
Right. I agree with Chris. I agree with Chris here.
What's going on, people in the chat? We see you. Jake Acavetta, Haskell, Kaylee Vaughn. What's going on, party people?
Hi,
we have
friends.
A very special guest in the back. But before we do that, I have this fun thing I got from the Schmodown. I actually got it in the mail. And
I got one too.
Okay, word. Okay, do you have it with you?
I gotta go grab it. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Go grab it. But so I actually had to send to my folks' house, so they had no idea what the hell it was. All it said was Marisol. I'm not going to show my address, but Marisol. It's one of the Schmodown trading cards.
Oh, nice.
I got it in the mail. I only got the one because I felt like I wanted other people to get them, so I only went for the one, and it was Marisol's. We got a Kalinowski.
I got the Kalinowski one. Yeah,
Word.
I got the Kalinowski.
So we're out here trying to collect them all on Spin from the Real.
Like Pokemon cards.
Right, but no, it's
none. I got the Bobby Gucci spectacular one of one special edition card.
The one of one, right?
I was in the process of for Christmas. I ordered for Frank a Mondo released vinyl. Because Mondo does all these cool different artwork releases. Anyway, I got him the one for Hook because they did a limited edition Hook pressing. It's so cool. It actually came today, but it obviously wasn't going to be here in time for Christmas because it was a pre-order. So when I got the email that I had something in the mail, I immediately thought it was the Mondo thing. So I was texting Frank. I was like, "Oh, your record's coming today," and then he goes and checks the mail, and he was like, "Well, I think what you think came, and it's definitely not the size of a record." Right. What is it?
When I got this in the mail, like I said, I went to my folks' house. Because at the time, I don't think I knew. No, I knew I was in Chicago, but I didn't know how it was gonna be sending it here. So I just sent it there. So I went to go get it, and my stepfather asked me. He's like, "What's Marisol? What is a Marisol?" Because that's what it said on the bottom of the thingy. Right.
Chris is like, it's not what you think it is. It's not what
I had to explain to them what the Schmodown was, and it was very confusing 20 minutes.
But didn't your mom know you went to the Schmodown in Chicago?
No, I told them all that, but they had no idea where the hell I was going.
My parents are really, really cute about this whole Schmodown thing. When we were driving up to Atlanta for the weekend that we had Christian on, we were driving up to Atlanta. My parents were like, "Oh, we're gonna," because it was all along the way. So we stopped in the town in Macon where they did the Whistle Stop Cafe for fried green tomatoes, and my mom would, and then my mom was telling everyone, she was like, when we stopped in Monticello where they filmed My Cousin Vinny, we were talking with family and stuff that were there, and I was like, "Yeah, Allison and her husband are really into this movie trivia now, so we're doing all of these stops. So she's sending pictures to all of her friends." I'm like, it's like a field trip. I'm 12 years old, and I'm like, "Yes, Mom, thank you, appreciate it." She's so cute with how hard she tries to find something to. If that's what she has to brag on me, is that
she talks on the internet with her little friends on Mondays talking about.
She's gotten really popular on the YouTube corners for movie trivia, guys, and she doesn't know shit about movies. It's great.
Well, see, I didn't want my parents knowing that I spent so much time watching movies just to not know anything about them. But that's besides the point.
Let's get our guest on, guys.
Yes, because without him, we wouldn't be here. Without him, we don't spend our time on Mondays talking about the movie trivia Schmodown. He is one half the co-founders of the Schmodown. He is the cute one of Schmoes. No, I'll say that right here, right now. Our little devil. Baby carrots himself. It's Mark Ellis, everybody. Mark Ellis.
Toby Barkwell's
What's up,
extremely
everyone?
jealous right now, Chris.
Right. Yo, what's going on,
Yeah.
Mark?
I want everybody who loves the Schmodown to be watching this except Molly the Wonder Dog, because she would be insanely jealous that I'm hanging out with. This is the dude. This is Christian's dog. That it started out as Christian going out of town for a couple of days, so he asked me to dog sit, and the dog sit. Good chance it turns into a dog napping, because this little guy and I are having a great time together.
Your new little best friend. I love it.
Yeah, I think I wore him out. I think he's got all that puppy energy when he wants to walk everywhere. He will bark at paint drying. Like, he wants to just express himself to the world. And so I'm used to, like, Molly and I go on long walks, but it's like it's a nice relaxed pace. And so walking the dude, I kind of feel like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, and I'm trying to teach the ways of the Force to Animal from Muppets. Like, that's our dynamic right now. So it's been a work in progress, but I think we found a pretty good rhythm with it. How are y'all doing? I love this show. Thanks for having me.
No, don't say that. Stop buttering me up, Ellis. I'm doing great. I'm better now that you're here. I'm doing so much better now.
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm just a little bit tired personally, but that's just working me nearly 40 hours a week as a part-time worker. So
yeah. When you're doing those 40 hours a week, not a whole lot of time for the naps that I like to take. The dude let me take a whole 20-minute nap today, so that was very kind of him. But I see y'all talking about the trading cards, and like I don't have a lot of regrets in life, but man, if we had started doing this season 1, when it was just like the last 30 minutes of the Schmoes Know podcast, I would be the Honus Wagner of the Schmodown right now. It would be super rare. It would be the most valuable card, because like Honus Wagner was nowhere near the greatest baseball player to ever live. I was nowhere near the best Schmodown player, but it's just rare, and it was early, and he's super old, and I am now, and so I could have been.
You're not old yet, sir. You're not old yet.
This is all plastic surgery. This is all. None of this is natural.
From the shoulders up that we see on camera. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, you should see. I'm like Jabba the Hutt. As soon as you can't see the camera anymore, it just all kind of goes out.
That's why you stay behind the desk. Got it.
That's why it's the best job in the Schmodown is just sitting behind the desk with whoever my announcing partner is, and I am blessed and spoiled to have a lot of great ones this season.
Yeah, I mean, Grant, I don't think you're like Jabba the Hutt. You're looking pretty svelte when we met you back in December.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and then we all went to Barney's like 9 times, so things changed.
Well, speaking of Barney's, I think
not now. No,
not now. We gotta wait. We gotta
Let's wait.
Yeah.
Let's wait.
Did I do something?
No, you didn't do anything.
You did nothing wrong.
There was that. You'll see.
We'll play it for you before you leave. It's the most incriminating piece of video that the Schwan's ever seen. That none of us have anything to do with.
If my guy Hambone and I had a camera that night in Atlanta, that would have been pretty scandalous too. So we witnessed something in a bathroom that him and I bond over to this day.
And now he has your head in his bedroom. Apparently, he took it home after Spectacular.
And then Chris has Christian's head.
Yeah, and I got Christian's right here on the floor. No disrespect.
Where it belongs, I guess.
No,
I don't
know.
No.
Wow.
Just kidding. Love you, Christian.
Hey, you can squish him from time to time for me. You can squish him from time to time simply because I agree with you, Taylor. You can step on Christian lightly occasionally, because this is one of those seasons where, like, even I don't know some of the stuff that's happening until it's actually happening. Like, it's the fun of Friday Night Titans, and so I totally get what he's going for, and I appreciate it, and I fully support him. But it's just kind of a funny dynamic, because like I'll be up there on the desk with whoever I'm announcing with, and then we toss it to an announcer, and then it's like we're finding out who's walking out at the same time as everybody else. So it's been a wild roller coaster of a season so far.
So he's keeping it from you too.
I mean, I know it, not even the dude knows.
Well, we should start. We should just jump right into it then. I think we got to pull up this wheel and go over the categories we got tonight for sure.
Totally. So for those who don't know, we have stolen the digital wheel because Christian was so kind to give it away to us. And we're going to pull that up right now. And
how much did he pay you to take it?
He paid us an appearance on the
amount.
program.
Yeah, undisclosed amount.
Yeah, now he's a friend of the show. That's all we asked for. But we do have a bunch of categories on the wheel. We're gonna run through them real quick, and then we're gonna give it a little bit of a spin. So first off, you see we have cutting the scenes, talking some cut scenes from the Schmodown. Is the boss back? With 3 question marks. Is he back? We have starring Molly. She might not be able to be here today, but maybe we'll be able to talk about her. Maybe, just maybe.
I really want this category so bad. I thought of this like in the middle of the night. And I messaged Chris immediately. I was like, "Oh my god, I got the best idea!"
And I said yes almost immediately after that. The top 3, we've done it on the show before, and Allison, she will give us a couple categories, and then we'll give our top 3 on it. But we'll get there if we get there. We have the Devil's Advocate. I'll explain that if we land on it. Numbers don't lie. Also, I'll explain that if we land on it. We have the wild card, which, could be anything, whether it's through trivia, it could be what we're going to have, what kind of beer Mark's going to drink after we get done with the show. It could be anything, right? And we have a Lomas cleanses Jordan. We're going to talk about maybe that IG match, maybe, just maybe, but the wheel's going to tell us right now. When we give it a spin, let's do it. Mark, do you miss the digital wheel at all?
If we spin wild card and Makuga pops out of my closet, I will never forgive y'all.
That I can promise you will not happen.
Not happen. I don't think we have those connections. Oh,
Molly!
We spun the Molly slice, dude.
Yes,
I love this so much,
dude. No offense, but please, Allison, go ahead, take it away.
So we all know that Molly is truly the star of everything that you do, Mark. Like it's just, it is what it is. She's amazing. And so I would like to think, since she lives in the City of Stars with you, if you could cast Molly in some specific movies that I have listed, which character would you think she would be best to be in these films? And if you have a reason why, you can explain it.
Allison, you said you thought of this last night.
No, I thought about this
a few nights
as soon as you agreed.
In the middle of the night, we just get a message, starring Molly. I'm like, I'm tired.
Hey, whatever adult beverages Allison was enjoying that night, I'm happy it happened because I love this category.
And there was none because I decided to be I don't know. I just decided one day that I just wasn't going to drink for a year. And it's been the worst decision of my life, but
You're better than me, Allison. You're better than me.
How far in are we?
I'm a little over 4 months in now. I'm at 127 days.
Congrats!
Like that. So thank you.
Hey, you keep it up, and I'll find a way to buy you your. I guess I'll let your hubby buy you your first, and then I'll just swoop in and buy the second and third round.
I love that. That would be so much fun. All right. Well, here we go. Starring Molly. So the first movie, I figured this is one of my favorites, and I think everyone enjoys this one, but I would love to know who you would cast Molly as in the Penny Marshall classic, A League of Their Own.
Hell of a way to start this, by the way.
There are so many options, and not out of the running is Tom Hanks's Jimmy Dugan.
No,
just because of the way that Jimmy Dugan takes naps in the dugout. That is how Molly sleeps, and so she's got some Kit energy to her, where when she gets feisty, she's got a lot of All the Way May in her. She does have a little bit of a. Is it Maud? Is it the shortstop? Marla. And she's got a little bit of Lovitz in her too, but I'm gonna give her All the Way May. I think that is Molly to a T. Is she can kind of act like that backseat floozy, but she really knows what's going on, and she's a step ahead of you upstairs, even if she doesn't act like it all the time.
I love it. I think that's absolutely perfect. Okay.
Except for the scene where Rosie O'Donnell catches the foul ball in the stands and comes out with a hot dog. That is Molly behavior.
Then that's Molly. Yeah. I feel like growing up watching League of Their Own, I felt very Gina Davis. And now in my 30s, I watch it and I feel very Rosie O'Donnell when she catches the hot dog. And it happens.
Fun little secret, a movie I've never seen.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Now we got some homework.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, for sure. Okay. Next up, I'm going to go with another one of my favorites. Again, a great ensemble cast. And we're going to go with the John Hughes classic, The Breakfast Club.
Oh, great. This is already my favorite Will slice we probably ever
This is why they brought me on the show.
Exactly.
The Breakfast Club is I don't want to cheat and say like she's an amalgam of a lot of them, like I did with the League of Their Own, but she's definitely got some Judd Hirsch in her. There's no question about it. Like when I'm out of treats for her, she will have that another banner year at the Ellis household kind of attitude. She's got a little bit of the principal. She's got a little bit of Molly Ringwald in her, but I'm going to give her a Daphne Zuniga's character. I think that's who Molly is at her core.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay. We're gonna go into a more male dominant cast because you know what? We don't discriminate around here. We just go through them. But another
finally, guys get their due. Thank you.
You're welcome. I would love to know who you would cast Molly as in the Martin Scorsese classic Goodfellas.
What a smorgasbord of movies.
Molly,
I figured I wanted to pick ones that like had bigger cast in them, so like she wouldn't just get like typecasted.
Oh no, you're crushing
like,
it. No, you're crushing it.
So you know, I thought these and ones that everyone either hopefully knew or have seen. So I thought this would be, you know, fun.
Yeah, Allison, I've already superseded your husband, and I'm buying the first drink for you after this. The temptation here is to go with Pesci because she can have a short fuse. Like I've seen Molly go Billy Bats on a few people before, but particularly skateboarders, and let's be honest, they likely deserve it.
They probably deserved it.
But I'm going to go with Paul Sorvino. I think that's who Molly is from Goodfellas.
I love it.
Like the big boss.
I love it so much. She bosses. She rules the roost. Of course, that would.
And if she does, and if she does something wrong, if she chews on something or she barks at somebody, I don't tell her mom because you do not rat on your friends.
No, you do not. Absolutely not. All right, perfect. The next one is going to be another favorite of mine. This one is the 1987 Rob Reiner classic, The Princess Bride.
I feel like she's got some Andre the Giant energy about her, but I'm gonna give her the inconceivable guy. I think that's who because when he says inconceivable, he's got those longing like make me happy all the time, and that's what I get from the Wonder Dog.
I love that so much. Our next one is this is a franchise, so you can pick any one of these films, a character from any one of them, and it's probably the franchise that got me into really liking movies, at least when I was younger. And we're gonna go with the Harry Potter franchise.
Ooh, here we go. Harry Potter franchise.
You can pick one from each movie if you want to. The rules do whatever floats your boat in this.
Well, I did say we had a great Intergeekdom player, Andres Cabrera, was on my show Rotten Tomatoes is Wrong, and that episode drops this week, I think. But on it, I talked about how much I love from the original Fantastic Beast. Mooncalf kind of reminds me of Molly, of like all the Fantastic Beasts. She's Mooncalf, and so anybody who put money on which character I was going to say in Vegas definitely did not have Mooncalf because I am not a fan of the Fantastic Beasts movies at all. But I mean, they're good for a nap. But as soon as I saw Mooncalf, I was like, I'm
second one's good for a nap.
I love it.
That's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
First one you can sit through. Third one, I don't know if you've seen yet. My review will be out after this show.
Nice plug.
Good plug. Good plug. Yeah. Good plug for the channel. The next one before I get probably into like my final one, but only because I was just looking at the poster behind me and I feel like if I don't ask this, I'm not doing my good job and living up to one of the nicknames that has been given to me through the Schmodown space. So for the Michael Bay classic, The Rock, where would we find Molly?
Look, there's no easy way to say this. Molly's definitely Ed Harris. Like no,
don't feed into PLD. Don't feed into PLD.
She's Ed Harris. I'm sorry that there's nobody else.
You're giving Paul the satisfaction. No.
She could be. I could see her being possibly a Sean Connery, but I don't see her sitting still to get her hair cut that long, and she definitely is not that happy in the shower. So he's singing in the shower. He's looking for it. Molly doesn't care about any of that stuff. Molly is here to eat, and if you threaten her food, she will eat you and your food.
I love that so much.
Love you,
I'm so glad. I'm so proud of myself right now, you guys. You have no idea like how stoked I am.
I'm telling you, we've done so many slices on this show, and
I think this is my favorite I've ever come up with.
I don't want to say it's the best because I gotta rewatch our other ones, but this was pretty damn good. But
this is the moment where when I pitched these guys for doing the whole digital wheel thing with the new season of Schmodown coming up and like a new format for the show, this is what I hoped would happen when I threw out this idea. All right, my last one that I got for you, and I feel like it's fitting knowing how much you love Return of the Jedi. But if you could cast Molly as any Star Wars character in any of the Star Wars films, including your off Rogue One, Solo, anything like that, what would we see Molly playing? What character?
Probably the closest you'll ever get to seeing any emotion out of me is referencing who she reminds me of in Star Wars, because the obvious choice from my favorite Star Wars movie would be Salacious Crumb, but she's not.
It's so funny you say that because we literally joke around with our dog Barney, who's like a little monster, and we joke around and call him Salacious Crumb every now and then when he's like,
she's more the size of Salacious Crumb, but she eats like Jabba. But she actually eats like the Rancor, to be perfectly honest with you. But I feel like if we're looking at dogs and the landscape of dogs, I feel like there's so many like tinier dogs that could be a Salacious Crumb. There's a lot of great, tiny little, whether it's like a Cocker Spaniel or something like that. You could go with Grace and Kent Baxter for that role. I could see them being like an R2-D2. And so as much as I think Molly fits the bill with how much I love R2-D2, when I saw The Last Jedi, and I remember thinking this at the premiere of the movie, which I was lucky enough to go to, at the end, towards the end of the movie, Poe has been without his favorite droid for a while. And then when BB-8 comes rolling up and he says, "There's my droid," I was like, that's exactly how I'm going to greet Molly when I get home. So Molly is my BB-8, and it's an honor to be her Poe Dameron.
I love that so much.
Yeah, that was sweet.
That was good. That was a good answer. I'm so glad I saved that one for last.
What a great question. I was hoping it was coming.
Of course. I would never have left that one off. There's no way. There's no way.
And just to add one more bonus one, she is Wilford Brimley in Hard Target.
Word. What a collection of films. Like that's a great way to top it off with some Hard Target. Word.
Yep. I love it. I love it. This was so much fun. Okay, cool. Well, you guys have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your stream.
Damn, Allison's just that was her one. Yep. Like
I gotta go out on top. This is when I submit my letter of resignation.
We've peaked as a program. We're approximately 2 months in to Schmodown regular season. We peaked already. Fantastic. Yep. I ain't mad at it. But we're gonna bring that wheel back up. Hell of a wheel spin the first time from Mark Ellis. Good job, Mark. That was rad.
I do what I can.
But let's go ahead and spin this again. I guarantee Molly's name will be brought up at least 3 more times before this program's over. But
if it's not brought up in like every single topic, then I don't want to be here. Like that was the whole point.
Well, instead of Molly, we're going to talk about the boss and the clients of one of the people in the chat, Rick the Rager Radis, which I mean, hell of a main event this past week on Titans. But before we start talking about the match and the extensive notes that we have brought in regards to the match, as Allison showed us over the last couple of days, and I did over my watch of Titans, I want to ask Mark, because Rick the Rager Radis, he's a friend of the show. We've had him on a couple times, and Taylor Klika, who is adamant on us not talking about this match in the chat. What are your thoughts on Rick Radis, especially when you first got to see him in the studio?
Daddy issues.
Daddy-o issues, almost. Yeah.
Ooh.
My first, I mean, my overarching sentiment about all the competitors is that my go-to line, because it's true, is that I love all of my children equally. And what I appreciate about Radis is that he's fearless, and that gets him into trouble more often than not around the Schmodown studios when he just is ready in his many different robes to challenge anybody, to pick a fight with anyone, to call out someone. I mean, as we saw recently, he's demanding stuff from the chairman, and that takes some guts to do that. And so that's how he wants to make his mark. That's how he wants to be known. And so I've always said this about stand-up, and I've always said this about the Schmodown, is that I don't necessarily have to like you or even appreciate you personally, but if you do what you do best, either it's on stage or it's playing the Schmodown and being a personality, then that's what I want from you. So I have friends that aren't maybe the nicest people, but they do that on stage and it's very funny. So it works for them. And then I also have people that I know in the Schmodown that are their characters that, maybe not my cup of tea all the time, but it's working for him so far. We're talking about him, and then he calls out. I mean, if you get the attention of a player at the level and the caliber of a Ben the Boss Bateman, then you're doing something right, even if I feel like you're taking a lot of wrong turns on the way.
Yeah, and you know what? He really liked it.
Are you suckers ready to rage?
He's you guys' problem now.
Yep.
Like that was on our channel.
All your problem.
Yeah, like that was yeah, that's up to you guys now. But let's talk about the actual match and the things that surrounded it. Off rip, I want to mention the "Can I get a stick of meat" line from Ken Knapsack, which really made me just lose my damn mind. Like I forgot what I was watching for a second. And Mark, when you're doing the what's going on, Nick Harley in the chat, what's good? Mark, when you're doing the little like bantering with your folks on the desk, because we've seen you have multiple partners over the course of your Schmodown career, whether it's Ken Knapsack or Rachel Cushing, as we also saw in this episode. Like,
and now Andrew Guy's been there with you a bunch too.
Andrew Guy. But now with Ken or your other buddies that you've done it with in stand up, how many times are y'all trying to make each other laugh? Over the course of a Schmodown match. Like, can I get a stick of meat?
There's some good-natured one-upsmanship, particularly when it comes to Ken and I, just because I would even lump Ken in the same category as Radis, as far as I'm glad they have the Schmodown because it keeps them off the streets. We don't know what they'd be doing otherwise, but it's not safe. So Ken and I do like to try to pepper in references that will crack each other up. But one of my favorite examples outside of the Schmodown is when we were on Jedi Council, and it's probably the Jedi Council episode that Christian hates more than any other one, is that Ken and I think midway through just decided we would just keep trying to reference Billy Joel songs. And I think we each got like 18 at one point. So that was a lot of fun. We peppered in some Rolling Stones tunes because we had just seen the concert the night before when we were announcing a Schmodown once upon a time. But as far as and Andrew is just honestly, I'm just trying to keep up with Andrew and with Rachel because they're just so professional on the desk. Given events of the last couple of weeks, I'm glad Andrew is more often than not next to me and not competing. Sure. But he's always a pro through and through, as is Rach, and as is Ken. So I'm really, they all just make me look good. And you could say maybe that's what Bateman was doing with Guy at the tip, but Guy got some questions. Guy actually played pretty well. So
he got a perfect round one. Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, he humped the table, but he got a perfect round.
Yeah. A perfect round is not table hump worthy, in my opinion. But
what is table hump worthy? Can I ask?
Does anyone know, for Brother Lomas' sake, did he marry the table yet?
I don't believe they're talking anymore, and so I think they've been excommunicated. If you noticed last week from the Vatican itself, a poof of blue smoke went up, and I think that means that Brother Lomas is not happy with the desk.
Yeah, Brother Lomas has a direct line to the Vatican, as Mark Ellis just informed me. I had no idea. But again, I want to talk about the match. But what is worth a table hump? Like, is it like a perfect match? Like, is it like, like you said, it's not worth table humping for a perfect first round, but like perfect match?
If we were in our studio a
Theo?
few years ago, I would say, look, you have a perfect game. Go ahead and get to second base with whatever table you want. But we're in a new TV studio, and the production quality is really nice, and so maybe we just don't lay with tables from now on.
We're duly noted.
That goes against our attempts to be more family friendly. I believe
It's okay. It's okay.
That's how you get the TV MA rating. By
Mark, what's going on between you and Harley, man? That's all I
got. Look,
wow.
Like I said, I love all my children equally. Once I figure out exactly who that is, I'll probably have more thoughts on it.
Word.
But look, Christian and I just try to make a fun game for everyone. And if people have beef with the chairman or with baby carrots, I try to put out a pretty congenial vibe into the universe. And when that doesn't get reciprocated, I just keep moving about my day and keep doing my job. So if nobody else has a problem with it, I like to think it's on them.
Duly noted. So let's talk about the match.
Yes.
So Rick Radis, Ben Bateman.
Another perfect round. You got another perfect round.
Yeah, speaking of perfect rounds, right? Rick Radis. I mean, probably to the shock of many, seeing Ben being the one to bleed first in this match. But I'm a fan of the questions, especially like the weirdo question we've been getting this year that have been off kilter to what we've seen in the Schmoedown the last few years. I love the who doesn't appear question from Clerks 2. Like that style of question, that format of question really tickles my fancy. But the Casper question, shout out to the Casper question. I love some Christina Ricci. Christina Ricci.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with our entire writing staff this year, and I've seen a sneak preview of some of the questions that they're cooking up for the free for all, and it's going to be a very fun free for all. I'll say. I mean, we still got to get everything, get all the competitors there and all that good stuff. But I've just seen some of the questions so far, and it's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun asking the questions. I'll put it that way.
That's awesome. No, yeah, because we say it all the time, or at least I know I say all the time. We here at Spin for the Real team question writers all the way, and watching how these questions have been going and you guys reading them off. And I mean, the way that it's just been done, it's fantastic this season. This is a really fun season for me because it's my first one to watch all the way through. So I'm getting a team action reunion. And then now this week, Guy managing Bateman, I'm like, there's no way I would have joined any of these stupid Patreons had I watched this shit back in 2015 when they first started. There's no way. And yet here I am. So it's been a good time.
Are you saying they're doing a better job than when I was scribbling all those Point Break questions from season 1?
I mean, I rewatched some season 1 matches.
Not respect the views of Anthony Lopez and Matt.
Right. I rewatched, Mark. I did rewatch your match against Christian Rubalcaba and JTE in preparation for this show, because those, like, the season 1 matches are stark contrast to what we're getting now.
Right.
A little different.
Right. Especially like what Mark said a little bit ago. It was just a segment on a podcast. But I don't know. The entrances are still pretty gaudy. And I mean, Mark, you have one that's very notable. But maybe if we get a Will Slice, we'll talk about it. But this match, again, like just two guys really slugging it out. And Bateman's the one that bleeds first. And I was in awe because the questions, again, like we're starting off with the easier ones, like the easier questions compared to Schmoedown's past, especially the digital seasons, where we would get like the hard hitting ones off rip. The second that the first round starts, we're getting the more difficult ones, right? But now we're showing up with like the gradual build and question difficulty over the course of the first round before we even get to the second. But I loved what these two were doing, especially the character work and them talking shit to each other between questions. Like it was fantastic.
Coming out of round 1, I was obviously I'm always impressed with Bateman's knowledge, but I was impressed with Rager just because it's not an easy thing to talk trash as well as he does, but compared to handling the pressure of actually being in the match, the trash talk is the simple part, because then you actually have to put up or shut up. And so it's like, I almost look at it like we just had March Madness. And so you see a Cinderella, you see like a 15 seed beating a 2. And it's like, well, that's nice. That's a cute upset, but can you continue to play at that level? And that's what Rager did. I mean, he put I think Bateman on notice a little bit in round one, saying that this isn't just going to be some easy match to get the rust off. This is going to be a tough competitor. And so if Rager keeps bringing that same level of knowledge, then I think he's going to have a lot of success. But I think at the end of the day, after 3 rounds of battle, which that match was, Bateman just the more seasoned. He's been in more of those spots before. As we always say, everyone that you look up to in the Schmodown from a competitor standpoint has had a tough loss. They've either been a little over their skis or they missed a question that they should have hit, and it makes them better. And so as long as Rager can just occasionally take a break from, peppering everybody else with insults and focus on his craft of answering correct movie trivia questions, I think it's going to be a good thing for him that he went through that in the long run.
So you're calling him St. Peter's then?
I don't want to give him St. Peter's yet because that feels more like a Brother Lomas sort of institution.
I have to say one of my favorite parts during round 2 was Guy stepping out at like the end of Bateman's round to challenge that one DreamWorks question, and then your response of, well, he got it right, and it's 2 questions ago, so we're just gonna move on. And then just like acted like nothing. Like I felt like the most serious that I've ever seen you with something like that, because it was so ridiculous and absurd. And you're like, and we're moving on. But it was like I felt like it was the absolute perfect response to like the absurdity of what had just happened.
I don't know what happens to the guy. It's almost like he's a new driver sometimes, and when I'm in the car with him and he's got that driver's ed wedge on top of his hood, and he knows what to do. He knows how to signal properly. He knows how to make a turn. He knows how to parallel park. But then you give him the keys to a Ferrari and he just takes it out by himself, and it's wrapped around a tree within 10 seconds. And it's like, you know how this game works better than this. What are you doing? So we just got to keep him reeled in. It's like when I'm walking Christian's dog. You can't let him smell all the flowers and bark at all the mail carriers. Eventually, you got to roll up the newspaper and just let him know, hey, you need to back off sometimes. So, Andrew, that's why we trained at the park for all those sessions. And given that performance, it looks like we might have to meet at the North Hollywood Park one more time at 5 a.m.
That's why, like, you let him out your sight for 2 seconds, and he starts acting up again. Like you got to keep him in check, Mark. You got to keep him. Apparently, you got to keep him in check.
That's why I'm glad that Snickers, his dog, runs that household, because Snickers is a good boy.
There's a theme
Snickers
here of dogs running
boy.
households.
Yeah, I'm gonna text Snickers. Don't feed your dad tonight. Send him to bed without supper.
That's awesome. And then so from that round 2, that's I think that's where you kind of start seeing some kinks in the armor with Radis a little bit. It's that was a hard round 2 to watch. Just seeing how well he had done in the teams match to then this one where he's crushing it that first round, and then he just gets a wheel slice that, and it's one of those things where it's like how much of like Andrew Guy being there did he like just be Andrew Guy the entire time and just stare him down? Because we can't see what's going on with all of that.
You mean when he wasn't staring me down after that attempted challenge?
Yes.
He was giving Rager the business pretty good. He and Lomas have had some fun in studio as well. But I think when it comes to Bateman sort of starting to emerge as the stronger player, at least on that day, I think neither one of these competitors, in my opinion, has gotten in the other one's head. I think it's unfair to accuse Rager of having Bateman in his head. I don't think that's the case at all. I just feel like experience started to come through, and Bateman has just been in that situation more. Bateman has I think more of a breadth of knowledge than Radis does at this point in his career. But again, it's such a young Rager, and it's a very experienced boss. And so you take a shot at a champ or somebody who is championship level, you better not miss. Radis didn't miss, but he didn't knock down Goliath either.
And that was something I noticed when watching the second round, especially Radis' second round. Like you get it was a 1990s slice, as Taylor Cleave put in the chat. It was rough. He was not too happy to see Radis spin that 1990s, but you saw their different styles of play and just how seasoned Ben is. Like for those of us watching for seasons of Schmodown now, we know how good Ben is. Like we know that, you know, former world champ, like he gets it. He knows how to succeed in the Schmodown. And Rager, this is only his 4th singles match, you know? Like Ben's been doing singles matches for probably as long as Rager's been raging. But you see Ben's how he draws out the time, you know, to the point where Mark's like, "Hey, yo, like, come on, cool it with
like you don't have to wait till the countdown. It's fine."
Right,
like
right.
The
Like,
answer.
he draws out the time. He uses his JTEs wisely, and even his manager, former teammate, was trying to exercise a challenge. Questions after the challenge question was asked, it was weird. But like again, having the Ben Bateman and Andrew Guyvidal, like what Mark said, I'm not going to say that Radis was like he was flustered or anything. That 5-point get later in the match proved otherwise.
5-point get, yeah.
But like Radis again, like having to check down multiple choice a couple times, like that's everyone does that. It's not the end of the world, but it's the misses, you know. And it was just a blind spot for Radis, and I still think he had a really good match. Like
overall, yeah.
But he had a really good match. That 3rd round was definitely necessary points wise, obviously, but definitely for morale too.
Yeah, he adjudicated himself very well, and it's almost like a golfer who isn't necessarily in contention late on Sunday, but they still have they put together a really good final round. Like yesterday, I'm a huge fan of watching, especially the big tournaments. So I was watching the Masters. Rory McIlroy shot a 64 yesterday. It wasn't good enough to win, but it put the golf world on notice that like, hey, this guy still has it. So I feel like Rager adjudicated himself very well. But there's something about Bateman when Guy is in the room. It doesn't necessarily have to be in his corner, but when Andrew Guy is Andrew Guying, much to my chagrin, I think for whatever reason, it just helps Bateman settle and just play his game because he may be the best thinker during a match that I've ever seen. He's one of those folks that I think could probably know where the question is going once I'm 7 words in. He knows which way it's going to go. His mind is able to narrow down the field of possibilities, and that's a talent that I would advise anybody who's newer to the Schmodown, like a Rager, even like the Slick guy. I would say watch somebody like that because Magic and Larry were rivals, but at the end of the day, they would look at each other's box score and they would say, "What's this guy doing that's better than what I'm doing, and how can I improve?"
100%. And Matt, we have a Streamlab we were just informed of, so please, by all means.
This one is from Haskell420. Hey, gang, and hello, my friend. Peggy G said, I want to know who Mark would cast to voice Molly's inner monologue. So if you're remaking Look Who's Talking, but with pets, who voices Molly? The dude, Riley's Leia of Calderon, and other MTS pets. Thanks.
Word.
Allison, you have created a monster.
And I'm so excited about this. This is my new favorite thing because let me tell you, I make up voices for Barney all the time, and it drives my husband insane. He's like, that is not how our dog would sound.
What's Barney sound like? Oh, now you know what to do it.
He sounds a little dopey like this. He's like, hi, Mom. I still got your home, Mom. Hello.
I think Barney and Riley's late great wonder pup Cal would get along famously because that was a very kind of Cal energy that I just heard. So
that just happened.
I love that so much.
You saw Cisco pop her head up in here a little bit ago, but she's like, I'm gonna go on to bed now.
Oh, sweet Cisco. Yeah. Dude is just snoozing until we're done talking about Molly. Apparently he's taking this one out, but
Chris
Molly's an easy one. Molly, I would have Estelle Getty.
Word.
I would probably put for the dude that's like I would probably put like a Tom Holland, an early Tom Holland.
Wow, like pre-homecoming, pre-Civil War.
Probably Homecoming was only, or Civil War was only the second film, so like that probably.
Are we giving him the Tom Holland original British accent, or are we doing the fake American accent, Tom Holland?
I don't think the dude has earned the regal British accent yet, but I will give it to Princess Leia. I think that she's morphing into a Helen Mirren. She's not there yet, but she could be Helen Mirren one day. Right now, I'm going to give her more of like I'm going to give Princess Leia like a Terminator 2 era Linda Hamilton vibe.
Okay.
Badass. Yeah.
Yo, I just want to be jacked like Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2. Like, that's just
So
a
do I.
goal. Like, who
Yeah.
does it? Like, she just shows back up in that film and is just ripped. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's fun.
I remember seeing that movie, and then I was watching it on VHS, probably 94, 95, something like that. And the next day was our presidential fitness test in gym class. And like, I was a pretty good athlete, but I still couldn't do a pull-up to save my life back then. And so I remember watching her do pull-ups and just being like, how is she doing this? And then the next day I get on there, I can't even get a half of one back in the day. So Linda Hamilton, our hats are off to you. You crushed it.
Yeah.
Still, I bet she can still do a pull-up.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
My little sister almost didn't graduate high school because she skipped so much PE class. So she almost did not graduate her senior year and had to go make it up.
So note to self, note to all the students out there, be like Linda Hamilton. Be like Linda Hamilton. Just like that in every facet of Terminator and kickassery.
Absolutely.
But before we move on, let's talk about the third round and the post-match interviews real quick. Because we got a confirmation that Team Action is not back. The boss may be back, but not Team Action. Like Andrew Guy, he was very explicit in saying that the desk with Mark is where he feels at home, and being with Team Action, like that's his legacy. Like Team Action, great, we love him dearly, but going forward, maybe not. We're not going to see them too often, if at all.
Yeah, he might have felt my tractor being pulling him there, because as we're filming that, I just after the match is done, I kind of like to get up from the desk in between our segments and just kind of walk around and just get some juice in my legs, and so I was pretty much right off camera when he was asked that question, and so I'm just trying to like will everything in my body. I'm like, do not let Team Action be back. Do not let Team Action be back. And so he gave the right answer, and as well as he played, he is monumentally superseded anything that anyone's expectations possibly could have been of him at the desk. I honestly think he's the best that we've ever had of anybody who's ever announced the Schmodown match. He's right up there with the best.
I've said it ever, especially with Titans coming on, and I've done like tweets about it and everything. The two of you on the desk are probably my favorite combo on the desk of all time. Like the banter that you guys have back and forth, the one match where you told him that that you compared him to Cars 2, and just like the look that was on his face when that happened was just it was just perfection. So like the two of you on the desk are 100% my favorite combo, right? Probably right under that, like you and Ken for sure. I mean, obviously love you and Christian, but
that's all Andrew and Ken. Most of the matches this year, I guess people don't notice, has just been them and a mop with like some lipstick on it, and you just can't tell it's not me. So they're carrying me the whole season as they usually do.
Mark, and I can't sit here and let you do the self slander. Like I appreciate it, but like Mark Ellis, the voice of the Schmodown.
No slander here. He's the golden throat of the Schmodown.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I drive the car in the right lane. I go exactly the speed limit. The turn signal's on the whole time.
Mark, stop. Mark, stop.
I try to traffic cop as best I can.
It's a matter of time before Andrew asks you to give him that throat, boy. It's a matter of time. But
I also appreciate how humble you are, Mark, because if someone was saying all these nice things about me, I'd be like, okay, tell me more.
I think humility is a very important lesson for people in my lines of work to learn, and I would extend that to Schmodown competitors too. It's not like you need to take a break from whatever attitude or personality that you want to display. It's just that I've never had, like, compliments don't really do much for me. They don't make me better. I like constructive criticism more than I do, hey, you're doing a great job. Like, I want to know what I can do better all the time. I usually fail at it, but I like to know what my potential is. And if I haven't gotten there yet, then I just want to keep working towards it.
I love that.
And you're kicking ass at it, Mark.
Just like doing pull-ups. I can do a lot of pull-ups now. Finally.
I
can do 0.
You know what Mark's doing, guys? He's being like Linda Hamilton. Exactly. Boom. But Mark, like, you saw firsthand, you saw Ben Bateman beat Rick Radis. Where do you see like Ben Bateman and Rick Radis going now within the league and what they're doing. Like Ben's with the Den, this whole new environment for him, and Rick Radis, like he's floating around with Brother Lomas. And this was a very Rager centric episode of Titans, so we saw a lot of him
the past 2 weeks.
Right. So where do you see these two guys going in their respective paths towards whatever they have planned for them in the future?
For Bateman, sky's the limit. I mean, I see the way he's playing and the way that he's rounding into form now, and I feel like he's going to be on a par with our current champion. I feel like there's a handful of players where you could throw them into a match, and it just let's just see who gets the better wheel spin in round 2. Let's see who gets a question. If it's a championship match, let's see who's a little quicker on the draw in the speed round, who wins the betting round. So I'm almost ready to put Bateman back in that category if he's not already. And as far as Rager goes, he got what he wanted with this past episode of Titans. That is what he wanted. He wanted the spotlight. He wanted to shine. I think he did in some regards. And so now the question for him is, you got that. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to take the baton and run with it? Or are you just going to, say, oh, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to cause a firestorm and now I'm going to back off. Or do you want to keep sprinting because he's got some heat right now? And so what are you going to do with it?
1000%. I liked a lot of the Rager stuff. I know some of our other slices touch on what Rager was doing in this episode, but this match was great. I had a lot of fun watching this, and Rager had to take on both members of Team Action at the same time in verbal sparring. Like that's no easy feat. And I thought he held his own against the both of them. Like that was fantastic.
Yeah, but the guy can talk, and occasionally when he talks, it's a correct movie trivia answer. As long as he keeps doing that, then he'll have a place in the Schmodown.
Damn right. Any final words before I move on to maybe one last wheel slice, maybe two, depending on some time?
No, man, let's move on. Let's get at least one more spin in here.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
All right. Let's do this wheel slice. Shout out to Darby, Moose Haas's dog in the chat. Happy birthday, Darby. And happy birthday, Paige, for Betty. Today's Paige for Betty's birthday. Happy birthday, Paige.
Top 3.
It's the top 3. This is Allison Heavy show for Mark Ellis, and I'm
not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. These are great slices.
You're crushing it. You crushed it with the Molly one. Now we're doing the top 3.
I know. I now have to follow up that one. This one's probably not as much fun. So top 3. I just got a couple of top 3. I'm gonna ask you. You let me know. You're into some Schmodown related, some just Mark Ellis related. So we're gonna start with the Schmodown one. I know you love all of your children the same. You kind of said that, but if you could rank your top 3 of all time Schmodown players, could be current, could be past or retired players, but who would be in your top 3?
I would probably have to do retired players. I feel like I think I have to take the easy way out here because, like I said, I don't necessarily, but I try to love all my children equally. So I don't want to put sway towards one or the other, but I will, now that he is definitely retired, and I know this firsthand from when we announced together, Christian Harloff has got to be number 1. I mean, the guy did win a belt, even though he was in some grudge matches that I still, throw some trash talk his way about, like when he beat Sam Levine like 9-6 or something, and they both couldn't get a question correct. It was like watching two babies wrestle, but there was a belt. And I would put, I always had, I mean, it was very brief, but as far as his career in the Schmodown, but I will put John Schnepp in there forever, just because he lent. So I was thinking about that earlier today, just walking the dude and thinking about how much fun Schnepp was when he graced us with his presence. And then number 3 is going to be a tie between Wolf and Cushing. They're the Shire Wolves. They just they did so much to put the league on notice as far as what a team can do when they're playing off of each other's strengths. As individuals, they're great. And so there was just always something fun and dynamic to watch between them. And I know it's Clark's nickname. It really applies to both of them. They're just so damn classy. I don't know why I get to be on the same show with them.
That's awesome. I love it.
I am so glad you mentioned John Schnepp's name. Like that's somebody who, who we lost way too soon. And he made an impact on the entire like the entire Collider era of Schmodown, and everyone that watched those shows that maybe didn't watch the Schmodown, but they watched him. Like he was so damn entertaining, and I would have loved to see him in this space now. Like a Schnepp Rager cutscene, I would lose my
that would have been
damn
awesome.
mind. Like watching them play off each other.
Oh, he would have had so much fun. And I know his conversations with Christian about like him announcing, he probably would have kept like double backing people and been like, I'm back, and then like not showed up and like just kind of always kept being a presence in there. But if you want to know why I always described him as like the sweatiest, the mightiest oak in the nerd forest, is because when we lost him, it was during Comic-Con, and then to a person, we did a memorial for him, and the memorial that we did online was on Collider's channel, and it was Monday morning at like 9 a.m. And again, this is everybody coming back from Comic-Con, hung over to all hell, exhausted, looking puffier and 15 pounds heavier than we were when we left for that weekend. Everybody showed up. Everybody shared their thoughts, their feelings, their love for Schnepp. And there's not a lot of folks that could get that kind of a crowd at that particular time. So Schnepp is he's one of a kind, and he will live on forever.
I remember that co-founder of this channel, a buddy of mine, Nick, we actually, after we both got off work that day, we hung out and watched all the stuff you guys are doing that day because we love Schnepp. So yeah,
all-time great.
Damn right. All right, Allison, let's do it.
All right, next one. This one's just kind of I always love asking people this question because I love hearing people's thought process of it. What are your top 3 movies that when they come on, you stop what you're doing and sit down and watch it?
We picked a pretty good one earlier with The League of Their Own. That might be way, way up there. I would have to say White Men Can't Jump is probably number 1. Top Secret is way up there.
Word. Okay.
And I'm tempted to go with the poster behind you, Allison, because The Rock is pretty damn sweet, but it's usually going to be a sports movie. So you know what? I'll do something else. I'll do like a horror thriller type. You got to go with the all-time classic. Every 4th of July, it's on one of Ted Turner's networks all day. So Jaws, still way up there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. One of them for me is always going to be Shawshank Redemption. Like, and that's always on like an AMC or an A&E. That's always one of mine. Big Trouble in Little China is another one. When I come home from work and my husband's watching it, it doesn't matter like what part he's at. Like, I'm just not going to eat dinner. I'm going to sit down and watch the rest of this movie with him because it's just one of John Carpenter's best for sure. So yeah, and of course you got to go League of Their Own. I love it. Just like, I think I turned it on one day, right, as he was like yelling about how there's no crying in baseball. And I was just like, and this is how my Saturday's going. Like, this is where we're at now.
There's no crying in baseball speech is so good. But my favorite one in probably the entire film is when he's talking to Dottie when she's going to quit and just, hang out with her husband for the rest of her days. And he just says, she says it got too hard. And he says, the hard is what makes it great. If it was easy, everyone would do it. And I mean, it's not always A League of Their Own is a great sports movie. It's not always a sports movie that you put on when you're like trying to get pumped up to go work out. But that line, if you think about that, you're getting an extra Linda Hamilton level pull up. That
damn right,
absolutely.
Damn right.
And it's good advice.
That's what was playing in my mind when I first started trying to do box jumps in the gym, and I was doing one of those. I was just going, oh no, can't get it. And then finally you do it, and it's like, see, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
I got embarrassed at the gym the other day by there's this guy there who's just doing box jumps. It was just on another level. It's like just nuts. And so I'm watching that and I'm like, yeah, I might take today off from box. I love doing my box jumps. I'm not bad at it, but you watch somebody like that and you're like, see, the problem is now I'm going to try that and I'm going to end up getting severely hurt. So careful with your box jumps, kids.
Careful. I have rocked my shins on workout benches doing hopovers and jumps because you hit it right at the perfect time. I think I still have a scar. Like, I have a scar on one of my shins from doing
so do I.
bench hopovers.
That's why like pull-ups, pull-ups are really hard and it's a difficult exercise to do. But the worst thing that happens if you can't do a pull-up is you're just like hanging there for a couple seconds. Like a box jump can really alter lives.
Chris, what are your 3?
Oh, Oh yeah, okay. So Dumb and Dumber, probably my favorite movie of all time. Scooby Doo 2002,
Okay.
and 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Good one.
I love those three movies, and talk about like just sitting down and at any point like, okay, like, oh, they're already at Spooky Island. Oh, okay, great. Oh, what's the most annoying sound? Okay, yeah, I got this. Like, this is, I love those three movies, and there's a plethora more, but I'll keep it to three.
For me, it's He Got Game, Return of the Jedi, and probably Harry Potter: Prisoner of Azkaban.
I was going to say, were you cheating off my test and then Azkaban happened? Azkaban's great, but
that's my favorite. That's my favorite of like the whole
It's
books
so
and everything.
It might be my favorite Harry Potter movie, but like I'm not gonna. I can't bump out young Val Kilmer in Top Secret for a Harry Potter movie.
And to be fair, He Got Game was my first ever Spike Lee film, so like this got a special place in my heart.
No, totally, yeah.
And there was a rumor going around that final scene at the court at Wake Forest, and I wish it was true, but I think they filmed it at NC State.
You are correct, they did.
So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna get into another one, MTS one. What would you say, maybe besides Titans, what would you say are your top 3 matches that you would use to introduce someone new to the movie Trivia Schmodown?
And I'm not. I have to take individual matches from a spectacular, right?
Yeah, you can take any. I would say anything except for Titans, like what we've seen. Any matches you can pull from Spectacular. You can pull a whole Spectacular and call it one. Whatever.
Yeah,
rules don't apply.
Just because I have to give a nod to it. The only thing that's different about some of the Star Wars matches that we had last season that were amazing, your 5150s. Versus when it was Knapsack versus Whitwer, was that was like an Iron Man style, and it really got intense, counting down to the wires. So I still hold that one up as one of my favorite matches of all time. I would put when Marisol won the title in New York, that was pretty special.
That was amazing. I was there.
And I love the one. I mean, I love the live crowd element to it. So I'm probably going to lean towards those kind of matches. And I think just seeing, Orlando was pretty fun for a lot of reasons. Houston was definitely an interesting one, being in a wrestling ring. But if I had to pick one more all time to introduce people, it really shows like the fun of the Schmodown, the competitive spirit of the Schmodown, and really the sports entertainment angle that we're all sort of going for. Then I might even go to the one that I don't think a lot of people talk about anymore, but it's when Kevin Smets won in San Diego during Comic-Con. It got the belt. It was just such a cool, and I felt like that was like the perfect level of rivalry, of trash talk, of performance. There was a lot of great elements to that match. So that's one that I probably will kick it out of my top 3 as I'm thinking about this later. But right now, that's just one for whatever reason springs to mind.
I love that. Yeah, that Brooklyn match. Both of those matches in Brooklyn were amazing. That was our first live event. So, and we did the whole, we got a nice little picture, my husband and I, with you and Christian. And then I had Christian take my picture with Thomas Harper holding the belt, which was, that was fun. Because you're like, you get a belt thrown on your shoulder. You're like, you need a picture taken. And the only person standing there is Christian. Like, you're gonna tell him to take your picture, right?
You have my authority to hand Christian your phone anytime any of y'all need a picture.
I love it. Hey, the picture turned out fantastic. Cool. That was awesome. Okay. Next one is going to be what would you say have been the top 3 spots you've performed stand-up in?
Ooh, great question.
Number one's got to be where we just did the 50th birthday party for it, which again, I think I confused some fans online this past week. I did not turn 50. The comedy club that I love performing at turned 50, and that's the Comedy Store. So that's always going to be, and I'll take any one of the rooms over wherever. I'll take the La Jolla Comedy Store as one of my favorite spots to do on the road, but I'll just lump all the comedy stores into one place. And then number 2, I'll put God, it really is a slugfest for number 2. I love both the Zanies, the one in Nashville and Chicago are great. The Houston Improv is just a riot every time I'm there. But I'll go New York Comedy Club just because I like that feel where a lot of times it's a Schmoedown centric crowd that comes out to see me, and I still get to work on the newer stuff that I'm thinking is a good idea, and they'll still let me know it whether one way or the other. But that's always been a good spot. And then third is a little off the beaten path because it's Qatar in the Middle East is where I did a New Year's show for one of my first USO. It might have been my first USO tour, and it was maybe 2,500 of our finest there from all different branches of the military. And we all rang in the New Year together. And we had a great country band called The Farm that played that night too. And everybody's back on stage ringing in the New Year at midnight in the Middle East. And you just kind of look around and it's like, what life am I living right now? Because it was just one of those all-time cool full circle moments where I'm a comic. I'm never going to be asked to defend my country the way that our nation's military is. But if I can just do whatever I can for them, that's what I gave them everything I had that night. So I'll take that tent in Qatar.
Hell yeah,
That's
dude.
awesome. Okay, last one, because nothing would be complete without something Molly centric. Your top 3 dogs in film, and go.
Top 3 dogs in film. I
And
can't
not
take
the ones that
BB-8.
Molly that
Yeah, not the ones
Molly
we fan casted her in.
Can I ask, does Chewbacca count?
No.
No.
I have it on good authority that Chewbacca is microchipped, but
He's based on a dog too. That's why I asked.
Based on a dog, but we'll put Chewie out of there. I'm going to go ahead and give number 3 to the dog in Independence Day that survives, because that moment where there's an explosion and it's when the aliens, they're blowing up the White House, they're blowing up buildings in LA, and there's like a tunnel and they're running into and they find that like door that's open and they sneak in there to avoid the flames, and here comes the dog. Come on, dog. And my theory is that from that moment on, you couldn't kill dogs in movies anymore. That was the moment where Old Yeller's a thing of the past, and the future is going to be a dog-friendly place for puppies to survive through the end of a movie. So I'll give that dog in Independence Day some run. The dog that I loved more than anything else as a kid in movies was probably Benji. I mean, how could you not give Benji a shout out? Benji's in so many different eras of film, and Benji's just transcended. I do love me some Air Bud. I enjoy the adventures of Milo and Otis, and you won't hear me champion a lot of cats that are trying to hang out with dogs, but Milo and Otis, good team. Hooch is great in Turner and Hooch, and I do love the Mog from Spaceballs, but I can't quite give the Mog dog status. And so my all-time favorite dog in a movie is going to have to be, I'm going to take the most loyal dog, and they're always loyal, but the most loyal dog, the dog that just never blinks an eye when its human companion needs something. And no, I'm not talking about John Wick's dogs. I'm talking about the dog in Sweet Home Alabama that fetches Josh Lucas beers whenever he needs it. That dog goes into the fridge,
we know what Mark's thinking about whenever he looks at Molly, like,
runs it out. And Mark Wahlberg's dog in Shooter does the same thing. And so either one of those dogs are my all-time dog movie champions.
That was fantastic.
Damn right.
So wonderful. Thank you for that. Thank you. Amazing.
And just in honor of the Ninja Turtle selection, I'm going to give you my top 3 favorite slices of pizza in movies as well.
Please go.
Number 3 is going to be Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs. That does count. Number 2 is going to be Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 1. The cheese pizza, that's for me. Mm-hmm. The number 1 greatest looking pizza in film history, Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. At the beginning, there's a montage of every New Yorker eating pizza.
Yes.
And my God, I can taste it. It looks, you know what? That's the one I'm going to rewatch tonight because of y'all.
Yeah. DMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze. Go Ninja,
it.
go Ninja, go. Damn right.
Love it so much.
Yo, but I want to go back to the comedy venues thing for a second, because if you have not seen Mark do stand-up comedy, I highly recommend it. I know a lot of folks in chat say they've seen Mark. I was lucky enough to see Mark tape Dog Stepfather in Chicago.
Oh shit!
With my boy Toby Barkwell in the chat.
There we go.
We saw him at Reggie's Rock Club. It was such a great time. But yo, if you have not seen Mark do stand up, go do that as soon as you possibly can. You will not regret it at all.
Yes,
it was so much fun, and I dare say you were on the floor level, right? You were like,
I was first row. It was right there.
That's how you play ball, because especially that night, because we had the Schmodown and the Star Wars convention in town. It was like this. Y'all were like two of the best crowds I've ever had, and then we just stashed a bunch of the Schmodown competitors and like people like Harloff and Gucci and Roxy and Dorina. They're like up in the balcony and they're like, oh, that's a good joke, and then they go back to drinking or whatever. Is that everybody was just so supportive that night? It was it was a trial by fire, but we got through it, and I'm pretty proud of the product that our post team was able to put together.
Chris, didn't you accidentally go to the balcony with Toby?
It was weird. I don't want to talk about this for too long, but it was like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like when I got into Reggie's, because it was very like we didn't know where to go, and I wasn't the only one. There was a bunch of confusion, like before the show, after the show.
You're in good company. I didn't know where to go either.
Right, it was weird. Right, so it was after the show, and they're like, "Oh, there's a meet and greet." My boy Toby and I, we got this meet and greet for Mark and for a bunch of other people. At Ken was there, Jay Washington, Josh McCouga, Joseph Scrimshaw, a bunch of other folks were there, and they said it was upstairs. Okay, so my stupid ass looks at the first pair of stairs. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go up there. Okay, it's up there. So I walk up with Toby right behind me, and there's Mark Riley, there's Dorina, there's Christian and Gucci. I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be at. Like I'm not supposed to be here. And like Riley walks right by me, and I'm like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. It's not the meet and greet I signed up for. So we ran out in a scurry, and and we went outside, and they're like, oh, it's up here in what looked like a completely different building. I'm like, oh, okay, fantastic. It was super weird.
But isn't that funny how life works? Is that, as it turns out, you did belong up there with all those Schmodown. You yourself are a Schmodown personality now, and I feel like I dare say, given that most recent image of Riley that we've seen, I think Riley might be asking you some questions, because I don't know what planet that guy's on, but it's going to be interesting to see whatever the hell unfolds.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was okay. Like that was a hell of a way to end Titans. It's like, okay, cool.
I was as surprised as everybody else, because I see Jacoby and I'm the deal breaker is great. I like getting to hang with him whenever I get a chance to, and so he comes into Riley, and I'm like, hey, that's my buddy, and he's doing some like weird bonsai grooming on. It looks like the ivy from Wrigley Field. So right. I'm happy he looks like he's at peace. So as long as he's at peace, I'm good.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah, he was definitely present. On what plane? We have no idea. But Mark, do we have one more time for one little baby spin?
You're asking the baby carrot. So yeah.
One little baby spin. We'll do one last baby spin.
One more tiny one, yeah.
Before we let our man go and have him train the dude how to fetch beer once he gets off.
I'll make sure it is a baby spin.
I'm just happy that the top three wasn't making me rank the host of this show. So that would have been really
because I would be number one. It's fine.
Devil's advocate.
The devil's advocate, and I heard you willing your way around there, Matt. Thank you.
Well, because we were about to land on top three again, so I'm like, I'm just gonna do this.
And I appreciate it. But the devil's advocate. Initially, this was something that I wanted to talk about, like with you, Mark, like some Schmodown personalities and things that you were a part of over the course of the Schmodown's long tenure. But I want to take this opportunity to, because if I didn't ask, I would regret this later. We had Christian on the show a few weeks ago, and I was curious into the Schmominati and how that would play out, because I was a big advocate on this show every single week for Mark Ellis to be the face behind the face of Schmominati. Yes, Matt co-signed me. But I want to ask you, because he said you're the baby face of all baby faces. There's no way in hell he was going to turn you heel. And I just want your point of view on that. How transparent as you can be, I don't know. But what was that? What were those talks like of you potentially being the Schmominati and running amok in the Schmodown.
It's nice to put faces to the reason why I got so many tweets and messages about are you the Schmominati?
I
Like, where's this stuff coming from? Now I know. So
we were the flag bearers for Mark Ellis.
They were. I just joined. It was them, not me.
I'm pretty sure Chris and I were the ones who like pushed that one hard.
I was screaming from the rooftops. Yes, that's Mark Ellis.
I'll say that, and I'll be fully transparent that I think that it would have been a really unique way to go with it, simply because especially at that point, really, I've never been that involved on camera in any of those, before or after scenes. Like Andrew guy literally showed up at my house and I had to take him in because I'm just a kind soul. So there happened to be cameras there. That had nothing to do with the Schmodown. He just showed up and I felt sorry for the kid. What are you going to do? But because I'm so sort of in a different department when it comes to my on-camera presence at the Schmodown, I think that would have been a fun wrinkle. And I think it genuinely would have surprised a lot of people. Maybe not the two gentlemen on screen, but Christian and I have a lot of talks. And so sometimes they all do run together, but I don't know that it was ever a serious consideration as far as it being me. Do I want to help perpetuate this thing or not? So I don't think that we ever got in the red zone. I'll put it that way. It would have been a very long field goal to kick to get me into the Schmominati, or perhaps to be the one that was pulling that mask off.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, Chris, our reasoning was, well, you're the co-creator and no one was ever giving you your due.
We were fantasy booking it the entire way through, yeah.
we're like, everyone always gives Christian his due and no one ever mentions Mark really, and this, like, it just makes so much sense.
This is the exact scenario, and I'm lucky that there is a show there. And so I'm going to introduce you to my friends at the MCU for this great animated show they have called What If. I would love to see a What If episode. If I was the one behind the Schmominati, how does that play out? What's the fan reaction? Am I competing again? Do I just go back to the desk like nothing ever happened? What's my personality? So that's y'all keep flying the flag for it. And I want to go down this. We live in a world of multiverses now. So let's see what the multiverse is like if the Schmominati is actually all my doing. I want to visit. I don't want to live there. I just want to visit that world for an afternoon.
Word. And geez, I had the gall to mention that to Christian. He was like, no, Mark's a baby face, stop it. And it was
shut it down so fast.
He was very cool about it, and he explained his reasoning why, and I totally understood it. But still, like that Schmodown multiverse you're talking about, I want to see the reaction of people if Mark Ellis pulled the mask off and it was him, the Schmominati. Everyone loses their damn mind, and it's awesome and it's great. And us here at Smith and the Real are, like, haha, we told y'all, suckers. But when did you change your mind on, like, because I know you weren't in the beginning, you weren't too keen on the cutscenes and stuff. At least you weren't too down for all the theatrics. Like, when did you change into be like, you know what, I'll do it?
Well, I always feel like the theatrics of the Schmodown are more for the competitors and sometimes the managers. Let's face it, a lot of times the managers. Thinking of some of them now, but I want everyone else to have their shine. And so I just come from, I guess, more of a traditional school, even though I never took a broadcasting class. Like when I watch sports and you see all of these great announcers, or you see a referee on the field, which is sort of both of my jobs here, it's their job to not be in the way of the action, of the attraction. And so, like I said, I'm just steering the ship. Like if you think of this like a cruise ship, I'm the captain that's like just up there. I'm not the one that's playing mini golf. I'm not the one that's on the high dive. I'm not doing the slide. I'm not going to the dance. I'm not going to the concert. I'm just steering the ship. Everybody else out there, they deserve their fun. They want to be a part of this, and I want to see their personality. Everybody knows my personality. It's a comedian who has a desperate need for attention and who's a way too big of a fan of Van Halen. You know me. That's who I am. So let's let other people have their moment. And when we talked about the Andrew Guy stuff and me training him, I just felt like, you know what? I'm bored. Let's give it a shot. let's just see how this goes. And it did give a chance for Molly to be in a behind the scenes kind of segment. So that was worth it for me.
Nice.
Well, Mark, the more theatrics and the more behind the scenes stuff we get from you, we'll be better for it, and I guarantee no one's gonna balk at some. Oh, why is Mark Ellis in the cutscene? No one's gonna say that. I guarantee it.
You never know. And here's the real tip off that I wasn't behind the Schmominati is that if I was, I think I would have wanted to have saved that for a live event reveal. You know,
Sure.
I feel like that would have been so much fun to have a crowd like we did at Spectacular, and Josh McCouga surprised the crowd, and Kevin Smets came out a couple years before. We had John Roca playing Through the Pain, surprising everybody in the crowd, and so I think I would have liked to have scripted a moment like that. It would have been tricky because we would have had to like get out of town. Couldn't say no to, and so I couldn't have been on the desk the whole night, and then like the lights go down, Schmominati reveal, and then here's Ellis. But it was never like a serious consideration, and you know we're kind of just trying to focus on our studio matches this season, so who knows when we would have gotten to do the reveal the way that I would have wanted. But I think that the Schmominati is better off without me, because they had schemes, and they had minions, and they had plans and strategies, and I am way too lazy to do any of that stuff. It takes me 3 weeks to write one fart joke, so I really am never going to be the mastermind behind any plot in the Schmodown. On that, I can guarantee you.
All right.
Well, Mark, it's been an honor to have you on the program. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, no. Okay, you know what? Yeah, play the video.
Mark, I was lucky enough to meet you at Barney's, and we before the show we were telling you about this couple, because you're like, I think I dipped out a little bit early because I'm coming back to Barney's to watch football. So here is the infamous couple.
The couple.
Everybody that how if you were at Spectacular or watch this show enough, you know who the couple is.
Exactly. Enjoy time.
Very quick.
Young
at least 2 hours?
They were doing that, or basically having sex on the patio with clothes on for about 2-3 hours. Yeah.
My favorite part about the whole story that I heard about this couple is Jeff Alterman was like making comments to them as all of this was going on, and then finally the girl apparently had enough of Jeff Alterman's comments and yelled at him to go get a job.
That is, I always appreciate when two kids get together, you know, and I would be lying to you if I said that at certain points in my existence I didn't have some fun at a bar, because like if you're lucky enough to be out with someone who you have eyes for and they have eyes for you, then you're gonna be that person at the bar at some point. And so just make sure that nobody's got their phone out and
there's many more videos of them floating around this space. That's just one of them.
Yeah, that's just the one where your boy
Chris is in the background and just like,
yeah, I had to go and be stupid about it. But that was our first time at Barney's, and hopefully not the last. But Mark, next time we're out in the Burbank area for a Schmodown event or for God knows what, we'll definitely see you. Hopefully not doing that, but we'll see you at the bar and having such a great time. But Mark, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on Spin from the Real. Let the folks know, like, are you doing comedy anywhere this weekend, this upcoming weekend? What you got going on here, Mark?
Yeah, I'll be at the comedy club, where there's definitely been a lot of happening back at the comedy store, akin to what you just saw at Barney's at the comedy store. I'm there this weekend, and then I'm putting together a little fall tour where I'll hit some different cities. And in the meantime,
it's Cleveland.
I think I can rig up something in Cleveland. It's somewhere around Ohio, maybe a couple different spots around Ohio. So I'll keep you all posted on that. But other than that, you can check out the podcast. Rotten Tomatoes is Wrong. My friend Jacqueline and I have a great time doing it.
I love it so much. I'm a big fan
thank
of that
you.
podcast.
And then Andres is on with us this week, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then just keep it tuned to shows like y'all's, because like I was saying earlier, the three of you may have started out as fans, you may have started out as folks who looked up to we're all looking up to people like you. And this is the community feel that Chris and I always wanted for the Schmodown, and the fact that y'all do so much for this show and for this extended family that we all have. We are in your debt. So keep doing what you do, and I'll keep. As I said that, I'm getting a FaceTime from Christian, who wants to know.
Pull them on.
Oh, wow, that's I'm just wrapping up on Spin from the Reel, so let's say goodbye to them. Christian, you want to say hi to everybody? Yep, that's our Christian.
Yeah.
That's my cue.
There
Thanks
is.
so much, y'all.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
That's the guy right there. Mark Ellis,
Yes.
Baby Carrots, our little devil himself. Oh my God.
That was fun.
Yeah. Holy shit.
That was so fun. That is it. So
Were,
good night,
were we
y'all.
surprised? We have phone Mark Ellis for almost an hour and a half. You know, that's dream guest right there. Like that's someone
That
that
was a
I've
great
been
show.
for since the beginning. Like
Yeah, no, we I think this is where we all start plugging our shit because we're not topping the rest of this conversation.
right, like we talked about dogs in film, why Molly should be in all the movies, and Rager and Bateman. But it was just so damn rad. And I just want to shout out the IG match, Lomas and Elena
Lomas,
Jordan.
you killed it, man.
Tons
Congratulations.
of fun from both of them, and I hope we see Elena back soon.
I do
Regardless
too.
of her performance, I want to see more of the Punisher for sure. What's going on? I'm a Roo in the chat.
What's
I'm
up,
a Roo in
bro?
the chat. But let's do some plug skis before we get out of here. Matt, what's going on the channel? Something you alluded to earlier. What's going on?
Well, in about an hour or so after it's exported, you can finally check out my review for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. It's been postponed because school gets in the way of life. So,
You know, you do what you gotta do. You gotta hit them books, but in the meantime, you gotta watch some Fantastic Beasts. I'm definitely gonna go see this.
and then gotta plug this April 29th to May 1st. Formerly Wizard World Cleveland. This is now Fan Expo Cleveland. Tickets start at $37 for adults, $12 for kids. All these fantastic talents, whether they're voice talents or actual on-screen actors, will be there, including Kevin Smith. I hope the Rangers watching this because we need a call out, sir. But yeah, just if you're near Cleveland or feel like you driving to Cleveland or anything, come hang out and yeah.
And subscribe to the channel. I know we might have some Fan Expo related content.
Oh, we got our press approval yesterday, so there will be
Yes.
Fan Expo content.
So we're gonna be doing some stuff Fan Expo related and before, in, and around the whole convention. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video too. Matt, where can the people find you on social media?
Watt Movies _Matt. Always posting there, and occasionally from the Watt Real Ent pod or Watt Real Ent Twitter, which is down there. So be sure to follow both accounts.
Allison, where can the folks find you on the socials besides when you are making incredible slices?
Oh my gosh. You can find me on Twitter at Allison Salamoni. You could also find me over on Flick and Reel with those guys, good old Sean Wingblade and Jesse Swift. Every now and then on their late night, Friday night speakeasy weekend review. For some reason, they've decided to tell everyone that I am an expert on Moon Knight. So if you want to hear my expertise, just come hang out. It's great. It's really good expertise, guys. Just saying.
Who's your favorite alias of Moon Knight?
Yep.
Okay. And you can find me on social media at the letter C Anthony Lopez, or on Instagram at the letter C _ Anthony Lopez. So they didn't put the underscore because some mother trucker already took Canthony Lopez. How dare he or she?
And also make sure you are following our Twitter at Spin from the Reel.
Damn
as
right.
well for our show.
Damn right. So for the CEO of Wild World Entertainment, Matt Thomas, and our resident Moon Knight expert, Allison Salamoni, my name is Chris Anthony Lopez. Much love to all the people in the chat. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Good night, y'all. Peace. Go eat some carrots.